Well, we have finished up the season now. I played out the last few games, and let me tell you, I am so glad that we got the job done early because we literally fell off a cliff. We were bruised and beaten and battered, and we struggled to even see out the games. We had injuries, fatigue. It was a pretty shocking. Yeah, close. I mean, they were close defeats. We were doing okay, but we're having to play youth players to fill in the team. Literally, I was breaking the team just trying to get the end of the season finished. And managed to pick up a draw on the last game of the season, so that was a little bit better. But we are at the end now, and starts a new beginning. Getting ready for League 2. Well, I just thought I'd show you what happened on those last few games because I just realised I wasn't even showing you what was going on because I'm bruised and beaten and battered and I'm fatigued after trying to get through the end of that season. But like the players, I managed it too. So yeah, there was a close defeat to Hartlepool and Aldershot at home. Tried to save the best team I could for the Aldershot game. Wanted to give that a good go for the fans, but they were dead on their feet already. Even for the Halifax game as well, but they did manage to hold out for a draw in that game too. But they literally had nothing left. They did so well to clinch the title early on because we had nothing left, and I think that shows I did have a real short squad really, and emphasis on how much more squad depth I need to bring in to get through the season next year. So where are we at? We are a professional club for sure. We are a club of 1.5 star reputation. I mean, yeah, getting vertigo up here. It's like woo, dizzying heights of stardom. 1.5 stars. And our club value is now at a whopping nearly £1 million valuation. I mean, that is crazy. We got 440 in the bank, not far off. It's going to go down over the summer, but we should get some new sponsorships in. Hopefully they'll be a little bit tastier. We should get a little bit better money for league participation as well. If we just look at our projections, I mean, projections are looking pretty good. So projections for the end of this season, I reckon up to 1 million. I don't know where they're getting that figure from. I think they need to update the predictions because we're not quite there. Half of that. So if we half of that and then we half of that, so by the end of next season we might have somewhere in the region of about 800,000, and then the season after that maybe in the region of 1.15 million in the bank potentially. Maybe who knows? I mean, we could get there sooner if we have massive amazing cup runs, but yeah, they're all big ass. I mean, I thought we'd have a decent cup run this year. We made it we entered one stage later in the FACup and then came out just one stage later as well, so we didn't get any extra games. The FA Trophy. Don't even get me started in the FA Trophy. I thought that was we were going to be looking to retain our FA Trophy, but no, we certainly weren't. I just want to have a look actually. So we got stuffed and knocked out by South Shields, and we were knocked out. So South Shields, where are they? They went on and beat Alfreton in the next round. And they went on and beat Aldershot. Well done, lads. In penalties in the quarterfinal. So they're through to the semi-final. And they beat Gateshead in the semi-final as well. So we got knocked out by the team that went all the way, and they are still to play that final for the FA Trophy. So, I mean, best of luck to South Shields. They knocked us out. But yeah, at least we went out to at least we didn't go out to a team that just went out in the next round. All right, so let's go through our end of a season emails and social media. We are up 9.1 thousand followers on our social media. I mean, that is a crazy. We are going viral. And not really any change anywhere else. Right, club visions. Yeah, I'm just going to accept everything. They're going to want us to still play attacking football, make the most of set pieces. I mean, why wouldn't you? Play entertaining football. What other kind is there? And counter-attacking football. So counter-attacking, attacking, set piece play, entertaining football. So football, really. So if you're attacking, you're attacking. If you've been defending and then you get the ball back, you can attack again, which is counter-attacking. And all the players can juggle and go around the pitch on unicycles to make it entertaining. And then, you know, make the most of set pieces. I mean, we do it like American football plays. So make the most of it. But yeah, all seriousness, I guess that we'll probably fall into all those categories anyway. Within the wage budget, I think I made a good job of that last year. Most of the season, I had a spare £1,000 a week in our wage budget. So yeah, I think I'm okay for doing that. And attempt to avoid relegation. Yeah, I'm happy with all those. Right. So yeah, I'm gonna have some big decisions to make. Who is gonna stay? Who's gonna need new contracts, full-time contracts, and who is just not going to be getting that new contract, and either can go or just run down their time on a part-time contract. Not going to be ideal, but hey, that's the transition we've got to make from semi-pro to pro. So right, discussing plans for next season with the squad. Thanks for coming. You've done a marvellous job. You know, give yourselves a pat on the back. You've done so well. You should be proud of yourselves. Your mother should be proud of you. Your father should be proud of you. The Pope should be proud of you. Everyone should be proud of you. Right. I'd like to talk about our aims for next season. We are good enough to not be relegated next season, and that will be our likely target. Everyone's happy with that, and that's all I'm going to push it. Yeah, brilliant. That's just what I wanted to hear. And I've got nothing else to add before I pee anyone off. I don't want to do that. So that's that done. Yeah. Next season, the team report is most people were on 2-year contracts. I don't think. Oh, okay. So we've got a few. Who have we got? So Ewan Pollock, he is going to be out of contract. Salim Akambi, he is going to be out of contract. Ash Boatswain as well, he's going to be out of contract. I mean, it would be a shame to see Boatswain go, but I'm not sure he's really League 2 quality. I have to review all this and make a decision. Harry Lee as well, out of contract. Johnny Barnes, Charlie Devine, and Jack Hastings, they're all youngsters, so that's all fine. And then beyond that, everyone's going to need to get onto full-time contracts, aren't they? So we will figure all that out. Yeah, so a lot of questions left about who will stay and who will go, but I will make that in a good time and I'll update you as and when. Okay, and news just in. The board have announced plans to modify the stadium capacity with the addition of 1,373 seats, including some installed in parts of the standing areas. As a consequence of this conversion, the overall capacity of the stadium will be reduced. The planned work costing an estimated $170,000 has to be carried out in order to comply with league requirements. It is expected that these works will take around 3 months to complete. The ground's capacity will be temporarily reduced as one of the stands will be closed during this renovation. So 3 months, if they get on with that straight away, well, we're sort of May, June, July, it should really be up and running by the time we get round to the start of the new season. So I don't think it should have too much of an effect. And obviously we were only getting around 2,000, just shy of 2,000 average for last season. So obviously it should go up, but we're still not going to be anywhere near the 6,500 capacity we had, even though it's going to be less now. So we'll see what that works out to. I'm assuming it'll probably be somewhere around 6,000 still, but we will find out in good time. Alrighty, new sponsorship deals are in, and they are a little better than last year, as expected. New 1 year stadium sponsorship deal worth £42,500 compared to the previous years of 26.39. So yeah, that's markedly better. What are we talking about? About 16,000 better. A new main kit sponsor. The 1 year sponsorship deal is estimated to be worth 21,500. Previously 13.5. So up about 8,000. So yeah, it's all in all 64,000 up from 40. So a rise of 24,000, which is probably a drop in the pond in all reality, but it is up nonetheless. And a change to ticket prices as well. So up average ticket price is 15, up from 13. And season ticket price up 190 from 161. So yeah, projected yearly earnings 882,000 up from 759, which isn't too bad. Capacity, yeah, I was right about that, almost around 6,000 mark, so 6,033 capacity it's going to be. And we got a new scouting budget in, and it's not that much different. I mean, well, I suppose it is about 50% more than it was last year. So it was 20,000 last year, and we got 29,500 this year. It's not exactly going to mean we're scouting the world, but it'll get us further than it has done previously, and it always runs out, part way into the season. So yeah, we'll see where that gets us this year. Yeah, but we got a little bit more. I don't think we've got more reach. We just got more time to scout. So yeah. All right, we've got a little look at our financials and a little look into the season ahead for the Sky Bet League 2 financial fair play rules, and the club looks all good in that respect. And I didn't expect anything different, to be honest, because we've been playing well within our confines, and we've only been making money at the moment. So we are up nearing that 500,000 mark in the bank. So yeah, as far as financials goes, financial status is okay. I'd like it to be secure. So we got I think last year was a massive disappointment as far as cup runs go. And yeah, if we had had a decent cup run here and there, we could have been up to about 600,000, maybe even a little bit more. So yeah, really disappointing from last year. Hopefully we can have some different luck, some better luck this year, this coming year, and we can bring in a bit more from our cup runs. That'd be great. It'd be nice to think that we could potentially be pushing up towards 1 million in the bank by the end of the season if we do things right. So not overspend, build a good team. Obviously we need to build a good team to stay in, and we need to build a good team for a cup run as well, but we can't overspend. That will be disastrous, especially if we find ourselves not performing well and then up going back down. That will really be shit. So all right, so I don't understand why they do this when they have the money in the bank to be able to do it. Yes, it's going to damage the overall bank balance and abilities of what the club can do in essence, but why would they get a bank loan to do the work on the stadium when they had it in the bank anyway? Because now, I mean, they've got 170,000 to do the work, and it's going to be well, it's 10 years, so but they're going to be paying an extra 50,000 over that 10 years if we keep on making progress. Yes, it's a drop in the ocean, really, but they could have just not worried about that at all, and we could have probably, with a decent cup run, we could have covered that in 1 year. But yeah, instead they had to laden the club with debt, and I beyond me. I don't know why they'd do that. But yeah, £170,000 bank loan. All right, and it is going to be Yeovil, who started with us down in the Vanarama South League and ran away with it in the opening season of this playthrough, who join us up into League Two. So they have done the 2 steps up along with us as well. So yeah, we're going to have some company along for the ride. All right, and we had 20 players that won medals for their promotion from the Vanarama National League. Yeah, so well done to all of them. And we have had inductions into the Hall of Fame, well, the Farnborough overall best 11 squad. So who have we got here? We have Alfie Roberts. So he's got the place in goal still for us. Elijah Morgan at left back. Jack Ball, who's playing at Chelmsford on a non-contract. Kanye Jobson, who is playing at Alfreton. Harry Lee still with us, of course. And then we've got Oliver Pendlebury, who is a free agent. He has not played since he left us. Quite surprising. I don't know why he couldn't pick up a club. Still got the skill to be playing at Vanarama National South, or North League for sure. But even someone below him, maybe his wage demands were just too greedy, just like they were for me. Harrison Dudziak, he is playing at Boreham Wood, getting a nice £950 per week. That is still dizzy money for me, and they are in the National South. So yeah, they're paying crazy money, if you ask me. Then we got Tom Olliott, obviously still one of our own. And they got Salim Saeed, who's playing at Warsaw with us in the National League last year. Didn't get many games, only 8 appearances in all, and 3 starts. So maybe not the move he was hoping for. And then up front we have Daniel Oyetunde, straight in, and Ash Boatswain as well. So yeah, probably wouldn't make half bad team, to be fair. But yeah, that is our best 11 as it stands at the end of this season. And then we've got the season review. It was a memorable season for Farnborough as they defied all expectations and wrote a new chapter in the club's history in being crowned Vanarama National League champions. There were scenes of jubilant success for Borough, who came to form at the perfect time late in the season. Well, we were off form late in the season, let's be honest. But finding consistent performances to ascend into top spot and claim a most unlikely victory. I mean, we got that spot nice and early, and we kept it consistent throughout the season. And then at the end, luckily, it was too late for it to be too damaging. So yeah, let's relive the stand-up moments in one of the best sporting underdog stories of the year. Well, we're not doing anything here, are we? I don't know. I think that might be broken. All right, maybe it'll come from somewhere. Okay, so just found out that Daniel Oyetunde has set a new Vanarama National League record for average rating of 7.33, previous record by Sam Pearson of 7.25. So if that isn't worthy of a Player of the Season award, I don't know what is. Obviously, there's got to be other players in with a chance as well, but that puts him in good stead for the award, I think. So yeah, we will find out soon enough, I guess. All right, so it was right there, right in front of me already. It isn't Oyetunde who wins the award. It is Gerard Harlock from Rochdale who wins the award. I mean, fair enough. Not sure he particularly done better than Oyetunde, who bagged 13 goals and 9 assists and an average rating of 7.33. He got 5 goals and 14 assists with an average rating of 7.26. Maybe in less games, perhaps. How many games did we play with Oyetunde? 35. 35 and 4. I mean, it's pretty similar actually, and I think Oyatunde in my book would have just edged it, but maybe a bit of fixing going on there, I think. Right, but short list for Panorama National League Manager of the Month, and come on, there can only be one winner, really. But I've got to vote for someone else apparently, so I will go with Yeovil. Yeovil's Carl Fletcher. That'll do. And I've got some people starting to come in on trial already. Get a head start with the scouting game. All right, and a few stats for the season just gone, and we can see why we ran away with it in the end. And it was our offensive game. Expected goals per game first with 2.11. Goals per game first with 2.30. And then fouls against per game first again with 13.56, and then shots on target per game first again with 7.13, and then set piece goals scored second with 21, and then we drop off with not terribly far down the thing with expected goals against per game 7th, 1.3, so a little bit leakier than we are going forwards, perhaps. Probably going to be worse next season, let's face it. Fouls made per game 8th with 11.84, and average possession 8th at 51%. So so really it's our offensive game that won us the title. So we have all our attackers to thank for that. So we've had our first offer in for one of our big players, and that is Taylor Foran. And it is Blythe down in the Vanarama National North League who have come in with a relatively big money offer. I mean, it's not big money offer in terms of the player. I mean, his valuation is between 16,000 and $500,000, and they've come in with an offer that is 130,000. Well, potentially 130,000. And I don't necessarily think that. I mean, it's okay. It's okay. What could I do with 70,000? That's what we get straight off the bat, and then we get 3,500 per league appearance, and then another 27,000 after 50. So we wouldn't even get that in the first season for him. It will take some time, and then 20% of the next sale if they sell him and he doesn't just run out his contract. But I don't really feel that that's enough. I'm not adverse to letting people go for good money because we can just use it to bring in more players. But he's one of our top earners, you see. So I don't know. Yeah, I'm going to have to think on that one and decide what is best to do. I mean, besides that, he's not even interested in speaking to Blythe, but if the offer was good enough, then, what's harm in just, having a good chinwag about it and seeing what the deal is. If they were to come back with a more sensible offer, who knows what might happen. But yeah, I don't think it's going to be a yes for the moment anyway. And oh my God, I think we've been done dirty again, and I don't win the Manager of the Season award. And I think it probably goes down to the same win rate ratio, 58% with Carl Fletcher, but he did 2 more games because he went through the playoffs. So he's pipped me to the post with a technicality, really. But that's crazy. So I've been having a think about how I can go about approaching our step up into League 2. It's not going to be an easy step up, and a lot of the players probably aren't going to make the cut either. And we're going full time, so ideally we're going to be wanting to make players into full-time contracts and whatnot. So here's the plan. I'm going to sell all my players.
What the fuck?
maybe not all of them, but I'm willing to listen to offers, and especially the players that are further down the pecking order that didn't get so much of a look in last season. They are on the table. They are offered out, and if there's any takers there, then there'd be takers there. Those players below a certain level, they won't be getting offered a full-time contract. They can carry on their part-time contract, because even those lower down players, when they get switched over to a full-time contract, they are going to be wanting to eat up so much of my wage bill. It is just ridiculous. I've looked at some of them already, and we're jumping up from a few hundred to like £1,000. Let me just jump over, and I'll just, we're going into this a bit more detail. So I have a wage budget of 16,000. Now, if I've got players wanting to eat £1,000 of that a week, how many players am I going to be able to afford? Like next to nothing. I'm already using, 8,000 of that. 9,000 of that. Sorry, 9,000 of that already using. So I've already had one offer in. Let's have a look. We had some offers in. So David Okogbu, we had a couple of offers in for him. They were reasonably substantial offers. So some cash up front, and then payments, which equated to about 160,000 before I decided I was asking for too much. And well, they decided I was asking for too much, and they pulled out. But here's my thinking, right? I've got some big players that are worth reasonable amount of money. David Okogbu, Taylor, Foran, Daniel Oyetunde. Players I don't want to lose, but if I switch them over to a full-time contract, they're going to be eating all of that spare wage budget, and I won't have any spare money to bring people in. So if I was to say sell those 3 players, I reckon I could probably make at least 500,000. Now I can take that 500,000, and I'm not going to get all of it back. In fact, I'm going to get hardly any of it back. But what I do get of that back, has that gone down? Has it always been 15%? I'm sure it was more than that. Okay. Maybe it's not the best idea then. Maybe I just need to ask for more money then. I don't know. Alright. Okay. Well, I was hoping I'd be getting a bit more money than that. But I think we got to look at the options, because I can't afford a full-time squad on 16,000 a week. It's I think they're asking too much, if I'm honest, for me to do. Unless I just keep the whole squad on part-time, and then I can add. Well, that's the problem. Any players I bring in are going straight onto a full-time contract, and they're wanting silly money. So I don't know. I feel like I'm between a rock and a hard place right now, because even though we've got money in the bank, I feel like I've done really well with the finances. I feel like I'm ice skating uphill with this one. So I'm going to keep on looking at options and figure out what I do as I go. So nothing has happened yet in regards to any comings and goings. But one thing I have realised is, with the current step up and the state of the club's finances, it, although not terrible, the constraints on sort of wages means I'm going to have to rely heavily on loans this year. Something I don't really tend to rely on too much, because I just like to build from within. And if you build a good, strong team, I mean, you can benefit from that financially. You know, they can grow with you. And that is another reason, actually, just to go off on a tangent, why I don't necessarily mind letting go of some of these great players that we've had. We don't have the facilities to grow these players into their potential. So keeping the players with us, yeah, they're going to get a little bit of boost from stepping up in the league and playing against slightly higher opposition and being on a full-time wage contract if we can afford to do it. But the fact that we still just got 1 star. Is it 1 star? Yeah, the fact that we still just got a 1 star training facility means these really great players that have bags of potential are just not going to be seeing their potential. So in a way, I don't mind bringing in players, hopefully having a really great season with them, and then letting them move on to sort of pastures new, somewhere maybe where they can grow into the player that they potentially could be. Because at the moment, with the facilities we got to work with, yeah, we're essentially killing players' careers. So yeah, we are a club where players go to die, but we're still going to be able to bring in some decent players. But their development is definitely going to stutter without the improved training facilities. So as soon as we can keep on improving that, we will. But at the moment, it's just so poor. So yeah, this season, I'm definitely going to be relying on loans. Okay, so we got a couple of updates in with transfers. Sebastian Williams has left the club for 54,000, going to Cheltenham in the same league. So maybe not the best and wisest bit of business we've done, but he has potential there. And it does come with a 40% next sale percentage clause as well. So it's 54,000 and then 5.5 grand after 20 games, which I'm pretty sure will be done in the first season anyway. Yeah, so Sebastian was great for us last season. We're going to need to find a replacement for him. Elsewhere, Taylor Foran has committed his future to the club for a whopping £925 a week. These full-time contracts are going to bleed us dry, like I was saying before. So expensive, but I'm not going to be able to find replacements for the whole team. So yeah, we're going to need to renew some contracts somewhere. And like I was saying before, I think we're going to be relying heavily on loans this season because we just aren't going to have the finances to be able to move everyone on to full-time contracts. I feel like board is being a bit tight with their expectations of what we can do. And yeah, I really think it's going to be a struggle this year. We breezed through the National South League 2 seasons ago, kind of breezed through the National League last year, but this is going to be a whole different world of pain, really. Trying to find the players, be able to pay the players, and yeah, I struggle to see how we're going to be able to do it. So Taylor Foran does come with a couple of clauses. So $250,000 release clause for a higher club, or 160,000 if we are relegated. Yeah, it's a lot of money, and I don't know how it's meant to be sustainable, to be honest. But yeah, that's the first bit of business done so far. Right, another little update in it is regarding Daniel Oyatunde, and unfortunately, despite our best efforts, we couldn't tie him down to a new contract. Mainly down to interest from QPR in the Championship. He's quite keen on that, should they come in for him. Means we're probably losing for quite a bit less than we potentially should, because he's only got a year left. He's only on a part-time contract. There's no minimum release clause either. So it's either sell him for what we can get for him, or lose him on a free and only get the benefits of him on a part-time contract for the next year. And he's still going to do a job, that's for sure. So yeah. Yeah, that might be the end of Oyatunde. All right, and on a lighter note, we have managed to secure a couple more players on full-time contracts. David Madupe, very much a fringe player, did play a part last season. 6 appearances, starts, 6 appearances off the bench. He could progress into a half-decent player. He's definitely off the pace of being a first-choice centre-back in League 2, but he's secured down on a full-time contract for 2 years on £300 a week. So yeah, definitely, I think he might have only been on 50 quid a week before, so this shows how much more expensive these these contracts are to get done. And elsewhere, Danny Imre, big player, one of our biggest players of last season. And that is a big contract. We've got him down for 1,100 a week. Yeah, for the next 2 years. One of our best players, along with Oyatunde. He has a release course of 325,000. But he is a fantastic player with still potential to be realised. He was great for us last year at right back, so good to get another one tied down. Yeah, and that's it so far. We've got a couple of offers in for players to come in, new players, but they've got offers coming in from other places as well. So we will see. Chances are when other teams come in for them, we're new to League 2, and their offers from other League 2 teams. So chances are they're probably going to go for the more established League 2 teams. So we will see anyway. But yeah, we'll be back with any news that we have. Right, I've just lost out on a load of defensive reinforcements that I had in line, or was at least hoping for anyway. And it just annoys me so much. So I was looking at bringing in Max Bardell. Looked really solid. I feel like he could have matched up with Taylor Foran. He chose to go to York instead. And then Kalen Avenel, he chose to go to Shrewsbury. Yeah, again, another really good. I mean, I think this was the guy that ideally he was the one I wanted out of any of them to get through the door. But he chosen to go to Shrewsbury. Same league. So, and York is same league. So, yeah, I'm getting overlooked and chosen to go. Players are choosing to go to other teams. But the most annoying one is this next one, and this isn't the first time I've had a player stolen to go to this team. And this one takes the biscuit the most. Is Jack Hanna, another centre back. Again, looked solid to bring in potentially alongside Taylor Foran, and he's chosen to go to Blythe Spartans. I can't remember the details of the player from last year, so we were in the National League. Blythe Spartans in the National North, and that player then chose to go to Blythe Spartans. We are now in the English League 2, and once again, a player has chosen to go to National League North team Blythe Spartans over us. I mean, what have they got? I mean, except for money. Clearly, they have money. I don't know how they have so much money. Our valuation is higher, but I don't know if they've got a lot of debt or whatever. But they're managing. I mean, 1,400 a week is more than we can afford, and they're managing to pay that down in the National League North. It's just crazy. I don't know. If we can't compete against that, how are we going to compete against the teams in our league? It's just ridiculous. So yeah, not much has happened now. Even contract renewals are failing. Players just want too much. And yeah, again, I think we're just going to be relying heavily on seeing who we can get in renewed contracts for. Use other players that still on a part-time contract for the remaining year that they got, and then loans on top of that. And it is just going to be trying to pick the best that we can get in from young released players, as we have done the last couple of years. Ideally, I mean, realistically, we should be able to get in slightly higher quality released youth players than we have done previous seasons. We have got a higher reputation. We're in a higher league, so that could be a little bit better. But we're still going to be restrained on how much money we can spend. Yeah, it's being like exceptionally hard, and yeah, it's just it is a money drain. I feel like every decision I make is like pouring money down the drain, and I'm just desperately trying to figure out ways that we can afford to do everything we need to do, and we can't do it. I've requested to the board whether we can increase the wage budget, and that's going to be rejected. There we go, rejected. I will discuss it with them and see if I can get that reconsidered. But yeah, it's just everything's really hard. And we have finally made it to the point where we get a bit of a season review, and obviously we know we are champions, and we also get the award for biggest overachievers. Farnborough, it was a season to remember for Farnborough, as thanks to results like a 2-0 triumph over against Southend, they managed to finish first, 20 spots above their pre-season expectations of a 21st place finish. Daniel Oyetunde's performances in particular were a joy to behold, as he proved to be one of the signings of the season and his team's most consistent performer. It was a superb season for Borough, who exceeded expectations throughout the campaign and claimed a deserved title. Well, yeah, wow, biggest overachievers. Thank you very much. Signings of the season. Well, the signing of the season is the one and only Daniel Oyetunde, who we will probably be losing. And then runners up, Zach Henry is another one who we might lose. We've not been able to tie him down to a new contract. And another one of ours on the list is Danny Imre, who we have tied down on a new contract. So at least there is one silver lining, I guess. Might be worth having a look, see what sort of contracts these other guys have got on, and seeing if I can pinch a few of their players if they've not renewed contracts or haven't got long contracts. But yeah, we will see about that, I guess. Now we have reached the fun stuff, as well as we have officially ticked over into League 2. We are no longer on the Vanarama National League table. So expectations are to avoid relegation, be competitive in the FACup, and be competitive in the Carabao Cup. The first time participating in the Carabao Cup, and we also get to participate in the Bristol Street Motors Trophy as well. Wow, prestigious. Yeah, and we've got 16,000 in the transfer budget from player sales so far. And yeah, the 15, nearly 16,000 per week wage budget, very, very small. And then we have received some money. We have received nearly 300,000, 293,000 for the Sky Bet League 2 TV rights. So that is a pretty penny in the bank for us. And the fixtures have been released as well. So we kick off the season against Crewe away from home. So that'll be an interesting test straight off the bat. And we've got some friendlies to sort out. I've been so distracted with transfers that I haven't even looked at doing that myself. So yeah, I'm gonna get into that and see what is best for us. And in another sign that we are making it to the big leagues, we have been invited to the Under-21s League, Division 3, and we wouldn't really have the players for it, but there always is that little gap between the senior squad and the under-18s, and yeah, there's always some players in there. There's never a squad's worth of players in there at the moment, anyway. But I think I'm going to accept it because it gives those players that are in that sort of twilight zone, I guess, the opportunity to play and compete. So yeah, I'm going to accept that. I've sorted out our friendlies as well. I'm not stretching ourselves too far. I'm not playing silly big teams. I'm sort of starting with small and working our way up to finishing off with a championship side. So we have the biggest test before the opening day of the season, just to see how well we do. But hopefully we'll have a bit more of a first team squad by that point. So it'll be a good gauge to see sort of what level we are at. And we're straight into the under 18s as well. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. Now we've had our first draw into the Carabao Cup at our first try, and we've been drawn against Watford. So that's us out at the first stage, I guess. You never know. Miracles might happen, but it's very doubtful. Yeah. Introduction with fire, I would say. Right, we've got another signing through the door. Not one I'm particularly enthused about. It's Fletcher Holman, and he's coming from Eastleigh. He was on a long contract there, so we kind of snapped him up without much fight. Yeah, he's not a first team player, but he's on 350 a week, so it's another big chunk out of the wages that we do have. However, we are letting Ewan Pollock go at the end of the season, at the end of his contract. If we do a quick compare, I mean, even if he comes off the bench and scores as many goals as Ewan Pollock did, potentially, maybe he could, maybe he can't, I don't know. But he's got a bit more height, so a bit more of an aerial threat as well. He's got better physicality, not quite as quick, but I mean, he does have some, attributes that mean he could, he could do a job. He could do a job. And if not, I could potentially send him out on loan to get a bit more experience and grow him as a player. And potentially he's got a 2-year contract. So even if that is the case and he can grow and develop in a year, maybe he can go somewhere else afterwards. But that is another player in the squad. So we're growing the squad. We definitely need more players, as we learned from last season. At the end of the season, the whole squad was just literally dead on their feet. They'd been run ragged and just didn't have enough numbers really to see the season out. And somehow we managed to do it anyway. But yeah, this is more numbers through the door. All right, well, here's an interesting one. I did change some of the roles, responsibilities of the staff, and I wasn't really getting enough suggestions from our head of youth development for players coming in. So I put Theo Walcott in charge of that. And he's come back with his first suggestion, and he is a Brazilian player from a Brazilian club. I'm not sure how this will work and whether we could get him in. He's not got any caps. Kalo is his name. Kalo. I mean, he looks nice. He could definitely do a job. And I don't know how much it would take to get him on board. He's only on £70 a week there, so hopefully next to nothing. I mean, he's contracted till 2030, which is crazy. I don't know. I will see what this is all about. But he has made an offer for him. 29 years old, ball-winning midfielder. I mean, he looks all right. If we get him, if we had the opportunity to get him in for cheap. And maybe that would be good. But I'm not sure how we'd be able to get him in without a work permit. As we experienced with G last season. But if he can pull this off, then I guess we will see. All right, so I've just had a look at the contract offer here, and so in the new league, I guess we'll be able to allocate 2 spots for 2 players that won't receive a playing work permit. So that is how we would get it. It's actually an offer for nothing. So it'd be amazing if we can get that as well. Yeah, it looks like it could be a really nice player. So yeah, we'll see how that plays out. And in another little update bit, just about the season tickets, really, looks like we're going to have sold over 500 season tickets this year. Not a massive step up, I don't think, but it's definitely going to be significant enough towards our finances. But yeah, season on season, hopefully it just keeps on growing and growing. And yeah, that's going to essentially, feed us financially as we keep on progressing through. So I want to introduce you to someone that I brought in new on the staff side of things, and it is Rosemary Johnson. And I brought her in as our director of football. Yeah, and she can't judge players' ability or potential at all. I brought her in for her negotiating power, and she has 13 negotiating. Because I just felt like, yeah, I needed someone that can maybe get deals done better than I could. And as you know, in Football Manager, you're always being taken for a mug, trying to get deals done. So I wanted to bring someone in with the magic touch in negotiating, and I put her straight to work in renewing contracts, the ones that I was just being sort of held hostage for. But it's absolutely ripped our wage bill apart. But we have new contracts in place. Caden Voice signed a new contract. Evan Anderson, goalkeeper, signed a new contract. Matthew Takawira signed a new contract. 3 years for him, which I think I see him developing into a really nice player, to be honest. He nearly got his 1 goal short from being top scorer in the Panorama South last year. So I think we're trying to get him a loan out into that league again next year. Hopefully he can step it up a level and he can be sort of the top striker in that league, and see where he comes out at the end of that. But we've got him tied down for another 3 years. And then we've got Mehmet Halim, who went to Turkey on loan. He got injured for a little while, so his kind of development stopped a little bit. But he's still developing all right and can still turn into quite a nice player, I think. But he is tied down to another contract as well. Obviously, they're all full-time contracts, so they're a lot different to what they were. You know, I had players in for £50, £75 or whatever, £40, and now they're all like 300. And Alfie Roberts, 525 a week. He is probably going to be back as a number 1 goalkeeper. I'm trying to ship out Cameron Gregory at the moment. You know, he's unhappy. He wants to go. Trying to find him somewhere to go, but it's not really working out too well. So we're just going to have to try and ship him out because I have too many goalkeepers on too much money. And then we've got Robbie McKenzie. He's back in for 2 years on 500. Definitely more than I'd be paying a fringe player if I did it all myself. But these are contracts that are done. They're on full-time contracts. You know, Rosemary came in and did the job I asked her to do, and that was get contracts signed. Couldn't get one done for our Kian Willows, young goalkeeper with bags of potential to be a good goalkeeper. He is out of contract at the end of this month, in a day, today. So he will be gone, unfortunately. He was out on loan last year and made really good progress. Yeah, looked like he had good potential, but he just wants too much money. And that's something that's been good with this Rosemary. She's not offering him. If they're wanting too much money, she's come back saying, you know, they want more money than they're worth. So she's not giving them contracts. But right. And then we got Federico Canguila, one of our youth prospects. He is back in with a 2-year contract. He's got potential there, up to 4 stars. And he went out on loan at a little club last year, Harlow. But he's only 17 years old. I think when he went out on loan, he'd only just turned 17. So he'll be 18 shortly. And I think next year will be a really sort of transitional season for him. Get him another loan. And I think we will see him grow quite a lot. And then we've got Jamie Ash, another young prospect as well. Get him. He only went out on a short-term loan at the end of last season because we stole him from Eastleigh, who had him on a long contract, so we nicked him. He went out on a short-term loan to Bishop Stortford, only getting 1 goal. But I feel like, again, if we get him a nice loan for next season, he could develop quite nicely as well. He's got really good potential there, up to sort of 4.5 stars. And then Oliver Iro, one of our star players, kind of. I definitely think he's out of his league now, if I'm honest. And he's down with £1,000 a week contract, which is a massive chunk out of our wage bill, wage budget. So yeah, we're going to have to get the most out of him that we can this year. Absolutely, you know, we've got to be playing him a week in, week out, and just see what we can get out of him. Riley Hargin, he is in 2 years, young, 19 years old, good potential to grow, but yeah, probably lacking where he needs to be for League Two. That that offer for Kalo was accepted. So now we're going to have to see whether we get this 29-year-old Brazilian in. Be quite interesting. A nice juicy bit of Brazilian magic for us, hopefully. Also Preston Fearon as well, with a 2-year contract, £325, and that actually puts us over our wage bill. But we do have potential of players going out, namely the biggest name, Oyatunde. Who else? And then there is I'll try and find him. David Akugbu. He's potentially going to go out. Potentially Borgnis as well. I mean, there are players that are wanted. Taylor Foran is still wanted despite his new contract. I mean, they'd have to be paying a lot of money to get that deal done, as he has quite a sizable release clause. Salim Akambi, he wants out, but no one's interested in the transfer at the moment. There are potential of players leaving, so I'm hoping the finances kind of balance themselves out. But yeah, no new players in at the moment. We have just ticked over to the 1st of July, and I just thought we'd have a look at our pre-season odds. And as you can see, 301 to be dead last and get relegated. So things are looking pretty grim for us at the moment. And yeah, with all our wage budget essentially used up from renewing contracts, it doesn't look like we're going to be bringing anyone in, you know, of much significance. So we got to hope pretty much that we can get some decent loans in that don't cost anything, and the players that we do have in can, you know, form a team, and across the length of the season just grow as a team and develop well enough to survive. Because yeah, it's not the worst odds I've seen, but it's not nice to be odds on bottom of the table. So yeah, we're going to just have to see how that sort of thing go. Imagine the odds if we lose someone like Oyatunde as well. Those odds will be shortened even more. So yeah, there's still a lot of work left to do. Right, guys, that is our pre-season over and done with. 5 days until the season starts against Crew away. And yeah, I'm just going to go quickly run through any of the updates that we've got before we start the season. And I just wanted to have a quick look at another one of these transfers. Owen Farmer was another player we had in on trial. We were trying to get him. Really smart looking player. Good place, good technicals. But we couldn't get the deal over the line. And he's another player that has gone to Blythe Spartans. And I'm like, what is going on here? I did just have a look. They've been promoted to the National League, up from the north. And I'm thinking, how can they afford these wages, even if they're up in the National League? That's so many players that they have up there. Something must be going on. So I went in and had a look. And yeah, Tycoon takeover in October 24. So a couple of years ago now. So they've been building up momentum. But yeah, let's have a look at some of these wages. 2,600, 2,400, 2,000. There's three players that would take up half of our wage budget, just like that. That's crazy. I mean, this lot of players would be easy. 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, these players would easily excess our wage budget, just like that. I wouldn't mind a Tycoon takeover if anyone wants to come, you know. If they've got a few bob in their pocket, they can come, chuck a bit of cash my way. I will be happy as Larry, because things are not looking great. We've still got money in the bank. It's not like I'm hitting the red button yet. It's not like disaster zone, but I am over the wage budget. So I'm going to have to rely on getting some more players out on loan, try and reduce it down. I'm over by 1,400. And I don't even think I'm going to be able to bring that down. to the level it needs to be with loans going out. Not without reducing the squad down so much that I haven't even got a squad to play anymore. So I'll bring it down as much as I can through loans, and I'm going to bring in more loans. I've only got one in so far, so I will introduce you to that. Let me just bring this up. So overall, it has been a long and grueling pre-season and transfer period, and it's been a long episode. I know that, so sorry about that. But there's not been a lot of activity. It's just been grueling trying to find the right players, right prices, and mainly really getting our players on new contracts. We've still got a hell of a lot of players on part-time contracts. So yeah, right. Jamie Ash is the only player that's gone out so far on loan. He has gone to Mersham in the Isthmian Football League, but he's only 17. You know, he's going to get some first team playing experience there for a season, and hopefully he will grow as a player. Hopefully he's the first of quite a few that will go out on loan. Can't remember how many we had out on loan last year. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 players out on loan last year. So I'm not sure if we will have that many, but hey. Right, let's look at the players we did manage to bring in, and it is few and far between. We have Fletcher Holman, 20-year-old striker. He's not particularly great in the air. He's not particularly quick. His physicals are okay. And he's only got okay sort of attacking qualities as well. But he is depth. Though I do have a lot of attacking depth. But a few of these players I do want to get back out on loan. I mean, take G. You know, he should be going back on loan. Takarira, he should be going back out on loan. So yeah, I've got to decide who stays, who goes. But he could develop into a much better player than what he is right now. And then we have another attack player, Henry Timmy Davies. He's actually quite a similar mould to Zach Henry. If I was just to bring Zach Henry up, and we'll overlay him, and yeah, quite similar. Davies has some better physicals, maybe some better vision, and overall pretty similar mould of player, really. But some things he's got a better long shot, dribbling, free kick taking, marking, which is, you know, a bit irrelevant really. That's for an attacker. But aggression, that's better. Composure, off the ball as well. So I think Zach Henry has a lot of potential there, and he did do well for us last year. But this guy could do even better. But he is a couple of years older already. And then the player we got in on loan from Adrianians, Gavin Gallagher, and he is going to be playing in a central attacking midfield role. I think he'd do a job for us. So we got him in for the majority of the season, 9-month loan, but that'll see us through pretty much to the end of the season. He enjoys big matches, so yeah, he could be a real good player for us. As for our own players, Daniel Oyatunde, I still couldn't get a contract done for him. I went back in, I tried again, and he just, you know, he just wanted more than I could physically offer. So yeah, he is off the table at the moment. I think if someone comes in for him, I'm gonna have to let him go. Don't want to at all. He's our best player. If I just bring up Billy, you see there he is still head and shoulders above the rest. And if we lose him, yeah, we're going to really lose out on some star quality in our team. Would we still have enough to see the season out and not get relegated? Well, with some good loans, probably we'll be able to survive. And I mean, financials wise, it would take our wage budget far enough down that if we got the right loans out of the club as well, to bring our wage budget down, we could probably break even. And as long as the loans we're getting in don't cost anything as well. But yeah, so I will listen for offers, and I'm sure there are some good striker loans out there as well. So I'm going to keep on looking, but that is us done for the moment, and we're going to be looking ahead at that first game away to Crewe for a big game. Look at their training facilities compared to our pitiful. I don't even think we got balls at our training facility. It's just we just practice in a park. That's all we do. Yeah, so some of these clubs are a lot different. There's Wigan, you know, old Premier League Wigan. How long's it been since they were in the Premier League? I mean, it's quite a few years, over 10 years since they've been in the Premier League, and they have taken a big dive down the tables through the leagues. But still Wigan. Who else have we got in there? Obviously, we got our friends at Yeovil up with us. Who else have we got? Big team wise, Bradford City, Cambridge, I mean, they're all bigger clubs than us. We are by far the smallest club in the league. And if we just have another look at the league as well, any updated pre-season preview, and we've reduced the odds a little bit, but we are still favourites to go down at rock bottom. So we'll just have to see what we can do about that. But yeah, we're gonna get the season started in the next episode, and that's all we can do, except for trying to bring in some other loan signings and possibly losing our star player and getting rid of some of our other players out on loan to reduce our wage bill. That's pretty much all we've been able to do this pre-season. Yeah, sorry it's been a long one, but thank you for sticking with me. As always, pop a like down below, put a comment in the comments if you've got anything to comment, and if you're not subscribed already, please hit that subscribe button and follow us along to see how we do as we enter into the football leagues for the first time ever as Farnborough. But as for now, I hope you have a brilliant rest of your day, and I will see you again in the next one. See ya.